camera for such a long time.
We've got to talk about our deep analysis of that last 9-minute and 59-second game. Okay, here we go. Starting off game number 2, and we are going to go up to Sky Temple. So maybe the prayers of GLuck fans everywhere will be answered as we head on to our second battleground of the day.
Sky Temple happened again. Yesterday, the game number 2. They want to snowball. Keep on going to Sky Temple because they will have massive control for all the temples and the rotation. GLuck maybe focusing on few of the global. I think that could be an okay way of approaching because back in open division, they were focusing a lot on the global macro. And they started catching up, and they even had some massive comebacks because of some of the Hakas. Falstad, of course, it's in a lower division. Maybe it will work there. It doesn't work against here, but if they have a color like that actually worked, maybe they can refine that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Supernova coming in from the open division, also trying out quite a bit of global strategies, and I'll see if that continues here. Let's take a look at our bans. No question, Gen.G taking out the Genji, so at least you don't have to deal with that tongue twister today.
Phoenix. Not banned. This is actually first pick. Okay, it's the second pick. Okay, first pick Malfurion actually has 18% win rate.
18?
18, and that's because Gen.G actually won with first pick Malfurion twice yesterday. Without that, it was actually 0% because we see now against Malfurion because first pick Malfurion has been out there for
a long time.
5 months, 6 months, maybe even more now. So we have lots of burst counter. That's why we eventually had lots of mages coming like Jaina to burst out the sustained amount of heal because it's not burst heal. That's why we had 0% win rate on the Malfurion, but that's changing a little bit as Gen.G is picking up that win rate. Here's the buffs Rhaegar or nerfed ancestral Rhaegar.
Balanced Rhaegar. That's what we're going to say. I'm doing air double quotes when I say that. Just like we also have Yrel balances. She's also in a pretty good place right now. So, I mean, this is pretty standard by both sides. I haven't seen anything super crazy by GLuck, but one thing that has changed is that they're not, like, drastically telegraphing their team comp this time around. So at least that will hopefully go a little bit better.
Phoenix does work pretty well.
Are we going to see another Bloodlust Rhaegar like we saw yesterday? That was pretty fun. Glad we got a chance to hear about that in the interview. Just hear that, hey, if you can blow somebody up and make it a 5v4.
I think there's a good chance with Phoenix in their lineup already. Depends on the rest. Last 2 picks for GLuck. I think Bloodlust is actually not too bad with the Phoenix as well. You can't really ancestral. You can, but you're not really getting too much value out of Phoenix, even though you're healing less after the patch.
Hanzo Murdered, nothing super surprising. Gen.G just trying to keep it really solid. We were talking earlier about how they haven't really had to change anything up or try anything new. I mean, they've added in Yrel. I think that's the newest part to their draft so far. But what is GLuck going to round things out with here?
You have to maybe think about some percent damage. They already have Blaze, so can't do Martel. Which is okay on Sky Temple, not too bad. But they haven't really picked anything like... They have not... I was about to say, they have not picked anything like the Taikas, like Ballistics does all the time. But after seeing Muradin, we can't really burst out that Noblesse Muradin with no percent damage. So we do need that Taikas in our hands. So finally bringing in some other heroes that they have not really played too much. I like these picks.
I mean, it's exactly what you said, percent damage. And of course, Tyka's great at chunking through that, but you were talking about maybe a global composition being something that GLuck would benefit from, but I mean, there's the Falstad, and this is going to be in the hands of Gen.G, so I don't know of too many other scary Falstads out there. I mean, we talked about No Chat coming back, and it was like, but then he's changed roles and stuff, so I don't know if there's anyone that looks quite as scary as the Falstad in the hands of Gen.G right now. So what do you think about GLuck's team comp coming into game number 2 on Sky Temple, GLuck?
I think it's a big map for this team comp, and against the Falstad, they may have harder time catching up the macro. but they have a strong potential for the team fight. And they also have a Seti tool with the bunker in this case. So they just have to focus right. I think that's the main shot call that GLuck has to really come up with in game 2. And were those Cobras?
I mean, the core is a Cobra. A snack. Okay, so for game number 2, something's got to change, right? The Chromie did not work out for GLuck. Gen.G looked pretty perfect. 9-minute, 59-second win. So hopefully there is some change in the prevailing wins here for GLuck. We get started with game number 2.
We don't see the flight from Falstad yet.
Yeah, I got a chance.
You don't actually need to, because it's not Mage Falstad either. The Q stacking one has been out of meta for such a long time. Even with the buff that you actually get mana back per hit onto the hero. I believe 5 per hero.
It's a little bit of a, not quite like a meme build, but certainly not as popular as just going auto attack Falstad. So it's a little bit. Oh wow, what's happening? Kyocha, hello.
And says hi.
Bye? Okay. Well, that's not quite the way that Gen.G wanted to start things off.
Great catch, I think. Blaze had just hit the jet propulsion with the CC, and pretty much the damage from Taika's as well. That was a nice catch.
And
or was it Phoenix?
Jurel, Jurel is a very tanky solo laner, so not something you would necessarily... Oh, they're trying to do it again! But this time, Gen.G sees through their clever disguise and will avoid going down again. I think it's safe to say that probably Jurel's going to play a little bit more passively up there after getting kind of cheesed out early on.
Worked once, not going to fall twice.
That's right. Fool me once, but twice is not going to happen. So, going to take a couple of camps, top and bottom. So, look, taking the top camp, and now Overlord. Whoa! Almost taken out right there. If only we had a Karazi.
Overlord is great flex. You play lots of DPS, ranged assassins, including all the mages. And he's flexing into most of those heroes in this team. As he's the new one, for sure.
You know, maybe I'm estimating incorrectly, but it seems like GLuck has an experienced lead over Gen.G? No, not anymore. Man, okay, when I started the sentence, they did. I'm trying to make this... So we kicked Wolf out for being too Gen.G biased, and now I'm trying to make GLuck look good. They need a little bit of help there.
Oh,
Kyocha going down again!
It's actually not too rare. It is kind of rare. I would say it is kind of rare, but we did see these moments happen. Kyocha in the solo lane getting picked off a few times, especially when he's playing Artanis. The ones without the escapes, he sometimes gets caught from gank attempts from the opponent team. It doesn't matter which team it is, he just does let that happen a few times. So.
Well, this is Jurel, right? I mean, one of the reasons Jurel is kind of in the meta right now, she just kind of does everything pretty well. So one of those things is escape. She's also really tanky, and neither one of those things are helping Kyocha. He's like the squishiest.
Catching Kyocha again?
He's like the squishiest Jurel I've ever seen. Yeah, he's gonna have to jump backwards, kind of retreat out. But this is great play by GLuck, who are really crushing it up top. Oh, Asgard. Okay, there we go. I was a little bit worried there for a second. Rich is kind of having a field day, and there is a lot going on for Gen.G elsewhere. But when it comes to the top half of the map, GLuck are really owning it.
This is truly amazing from GLuck, just picking on to Kyocha's solo laning ability, because he does sometimes drop his guards. And they started with the gank, getting the kill, and trying that multiple times and pushing top, because Jurel can sustain, but she can't really wave clear too well if there's if she's outnumbered then. So just in the solo lane she does wave clear okay, but she's not really too strong. So just understanding that time of the game, GLuck really tried well and they made it work.
Yeah, this is not the Avenging Wrath build that I think we see a lot in Europe, and got a chance to see it I think once yesterday. So not quite empowering that as much. Just seeing Kyocha kind of do things maybe a little bit differently this time around, and more, I guess, team focused. But has been struggling this game, and not maybe it's not individually his fault, right? He is getting picked on by GLuck, and it's working out really, really well. So I'm excited to see how well they can leverage that into future advantages. They do have a level advantage, an entire level up right now. So things have really changed, and they look much better here in Game 2.
Even though Gen.G had false stat because of that initial Kyocha death, first few minutes into game, the macro fight has been winning for GLuck actually. And Mycen doing okay laning along with Overlord's help sometimes, and Rich has been stacking those scatter, and I believe it finished before. But gets a kill?
What?
I think he was trying to bait by going off because he knew that his team were coming. But Mycen,
great movement there by Mycen to
warp
just
on
kite as
cooldown.
much as he can.
Warp on cooldown so he can't escape, but getting some trading kills.
Yeah, you can only run so far there, Tist. And he is actually going to survive. Asgard trying to come in for the kill there. GLuck are actually playing this really, really well, all things considered. Asgard might have to be the sacrificial lamb, or I guess fire bat right here. He will go down in the end, but that is not a bad fight for GLuck. They do lose it in the end, but not without taking a few members Gen.G down with them.
That was almost a quick match.
Is that what we're seeing,
Because
GLuck?
for a second I thought, did the temple spawn already? At the bottom, is that why they're there? No!
No! They weren't even fighting for the temple, they were just fighting to fight. And that was actually spectacular. I mean, maybe it's a minor blessing is that Mycen is back in base and able to go out and stop this big push in the top lane. But the temple is going to spawn in the bottom half, and looks like Kyocha will make it there first.
That was actually not too bad for GLuck, I think, because they lost a lot of their heroes, but they drew lots of time, and actually, now it's going to be really bad for GLuck starting right now. Bloodlust locked in already, but they lost ETC, which means they can't really fight. They lack in TC, and they're losing Temple at the same time, so that was a critical mistake, losing ETC at that moment.
Right, if you have ETC, then you can start the fight, use the Bloodlust, and maybe make it the 4v5 that we saw them talk about yesterday being so effective. That's why we're starting to see a little bit more Bloodlust. There is the Dragon Arrow and the Gust on to 2. KCP and Overlord getting knocked into the wall, and I think it's all about
Bunker,
to go a little bit pear-shaped. No Bunker coming out just yet. Asgard pushing a reset back and actually dealing quite a bit of damage, but there's no more team left to help Asgard out. And he's going to try to mount away there, but reset's a little bit too fast for him, and eventually Asgard will be chased down. The rest of GLuck trying to come out there and help, but will it be in time? No! That will be a dead Blaze, putting out fires right and left, and Gen.G really back on top in a big way.
Overlord, I think he could have got into the bunker, but he just said, I'm dead anyhow, so I'll just do a little bit more damage before I go down. Didn't even get into the bunker, he died first. But props to having Blaze to save his teammate. There's the Haymaker.
That is going to be the boss for Gen.G. A nice volley at very long range. I guess it stretches, but the boss is still a big pickup. Even if it just denies it from GLuck, it's just going to be another objective that Gen.G can use to stretch GLuck even thinner. Hawks are going forward. Rich actually very vulnerable. Rich goes out, and look at Reset. He's going to fly in for a gust, but now he's actually just going to have to try to get back out as quickly as possible.
Actually, not too bad. Not too bad for a kill. Of course, GLuck, because they had to stay here for such a long time, this boss, because it's not too strong. It's so early into the game, boss cannot actually go all the way to the keep and damage the keep or anything, but because of that, GLuck didn't really get to defend the boss. Did some damage to the wall at least. So Rich again baited.
He did get baited out there. I mean, that's the second or I think second time this game that he's gotten a little bit overzealous. First it was Kyocha and Urel, now it's Rich, but I think once Gen.G kind of get their act together and come together and be that Gen.G we all know they can be, it should look vastly different. I mean, we've seen GLuck with minor advantages here and there, but who wins the fight when it comes down to it? I guess that's what we're going to find out right now. It's starting things out. There's Haymaker backwards. Rockstar trying to come back in and get the CC down that his team needs. Reset staying safe off to the back, but there is finally going to be just barely pushes Sake back. He's still alive there in front of the fight, actually doing well. Kyocha staying alive, being the tank that his team needs, but I mean, that's a 2-for-0 in GLuck's favor.
I'm losing my words of how GLuck is actually handling this. They didn't have Mosh Pit, was having a 50-something cooldown. I think Gen.G really underestimated what HGC can actually do in the early game, the amount of pressure he can actually have in this small zone. An early bunker means that you can actually have bunker again in 12 seconds. They're pushing this keep with double camp now.
GLuck,
you can't stop this. The spell armor is actually going to help soak the damage from Ridge.
Yeah.
They're going all in. They're going for core.
They are
don't want to stop.
Mosh
Pit comes back.
Their Roxer's actually taking this up. Bunker is going to come up
Reset
right
has
about
to come
now.
back. Reset was doing the temple the entire time. Haymaker, right? Making sure the Roxer is not really too close. Getting that bunker down right now. Core is taking some damage, but still 100%.
They're going to go in. Blaze with a huge engage there. Reset off to the back there. Myzen has been a huge damage dealer for the team, but now he's actually taking a ton of damage back. He's dueling Reset. Reset goes down, but Myzen actually unlucky there as well. Dragon Arrow coming back, stunning on to Blaze. I think this is the route from Gen.G. They will take out Asgard. Roxer will die as well, and Gen.G hold their core.
100%. Yes, it's way too early into the game. Just having trust into the bunker and Mosh Pit was not enough. I think if everything connected perfectly with the Bloodlust, getting kills onto Genji's heroes, then yes. But they were making sure they were buying time for Reset to actually come up, because Reset was actually getting the tempo shots from the bottom all this time. And they were clearing, making sure the camps actually give out no aura before they actually got into the core, so didn't do too much damage. Just got the shields off. So still 100% onto the core.
Still 100%, but hey, that's the first keep of the game down, and it's GLuck taking it down. So already the world is being turned a little bit upside down. This is a very different GLuck than we saw, losing a pre-10 minute game one. I did not expect this, to say the least, GLuck, but GLuck are really making the most of the advantages that they have, and they might look for another fight right here. ETC going in, Roxer push right back out again.
TT says, oh, come back when you're stronger. Come back when you hit 16.
The disengage Haymaker. But you can tell GLuck are actually confident right now. They have a camp with them, and they are looking to pick fights. Rich actually going to get stunned up.
Yeah, only gets hard slide, so that does push one out. Their job was to actually get the fort, so they managed to get it done without losing anything. And they're closer to 16. Meanwhile, this global is available, so Gen.G does have an experienced lead because of those reasons. And everything's painted right now. Let's see the moves of GLuck, what they want to focus now.
All right, well, Bunker, I mean, pretty short cooldown, even though Phoenix ult is down, the Mosh Pit's back up. So that still means that they have the ability to pick a big fight, and they've been doing a great job with it. Now, trying to keep an eye on Asgard.
Haymaker actually helps the stun onto Ridge.
Yeah, Ridge actually
time with the stun just gets over the wall, just saved by the...
Tist actually almost going down. KCB's going to try to chase him out there. Can he actually find him in time? I think the answer is going to be no. Yeah, Tist escapes. This is actually very, very close. Overlord also very low. Who is going to be the member that picks the engage that wins this? And it looks like it's the MVP Kyocha, but the bunker off cooldown comes down, and it's going to save GLuck in a big, big way. Overlord trying to survive. He does get back to the back line in time. Myzen up in the front, actually dishing out a lot of damage. Asgard low, but not dead just yet. Low health for almost all of GLuck, and finally, they do lose Blaze, but can they get out alive? Myzen taking a huge chunk of his health, but Overlord and Myzen do survive, so only one hero lost for GLuck.
Roxer was trying to sacrifice himself after the bunker to actually have that Mosh Pit that was pushed by Kyocha instantly. So that was on cooldown for 10 seconds. Great understanding of what he actually wants to do. The reflexes has been crazy. Even though Kyocha did go down at the beginning of the game a few times, he's been stopping those Mosh Pits so many times.
Stopping the Mosh Pits, even Bloodlust has been remarkably ineffective so far. I mean, there's that perfect storm, right, where GLuck just get the Bloodlust and blow Gen.G out of the water. Especially Kyocha, you know, we've seen his URL look a little bit shaky sometimes, getting caught out. Rich also almost died in that fight, and I was a little bit scared for a second. But
another call?
None of that happened. No.
They are pressuring. They kind of know that Burden is not here. because he did show himself a little bit at the mid lane and then Temple, so they do know for sure that one of them member at least is down there.
I mean, it's Boss and Temple firing on that bottom keep, so that keep is going down. This is going to have to do it for GLuck.
Can they? Okay, they have everything back, even the laser drill.
Yep, and Muradin's coming back home. So this is going to be a 5-on-5. See if GLuck can do it. They will have to do it here. They know that they are taking core damage right now, or the shield's being taken low, but oh no, they're getting chunked out so much. Bunker will come down.
Early Bunker, it's not really saving anyone the chains.
And here goes
connecting
Kyocha. He's going to come in. There's the laser drill, but is this going to work out? GLuck taking a lot of damage. Here comes, I believe that it was Bloodlust being used. They are going to try to go with it. Kyocha down at half health. Blaze with a nice engage, and Kyocha's down. Tiz taking a ton of damage. Gets back to the fountain.
But the backline is so safe because Mosh Pit was cancelled once again by the Gusto. They try to dive in, but they're so low. And look at Socket, Rich, and Reset. They're all too healthy. Look at their HP. Trying to have that. He doesn't even have the Gus. He was going for the kill, and that's a team wipe for Gen.G.
I think that is just going to do it, GLuck. I mean, we've got 60-second death timers, or maybe 40, 50-second death timers, and Gen.G is just going to walk across the map. They got to keep in the meantime. They could just take another one with the temple, but I think they're just going to go up there and do it manually. This is just an insane, I don't want to say comeback for Gen.G, but it did look like it in a few instances. They looked mortal this game, but in the end, it's the same Gen.G we know and love. They were able to defend against the last-ditch effort that GLuck was able to throw at them, and now they're pushing across the map to the core.
The understanding of the tanks in the front line, Wirtus just pushed Roster out of the comfort zone. It's not just because you don't want to have the Mosh Pit going towards the back line. It's because he wanted to do the damage. That's the core. That's game 2. And we might just have one more game after this, and it's best of 5. Gen.G takes game 2. But they did spill some blood in this game.
That's true. It was a little messy. I do just want to give congratulations to GLuck. They found a way to make it work. They found a few early picks. We didn't see Sake's Karazim come off this game early on and really shut them down. And once they got going, they really bullied Kyocha top. He died twice in a row, and I'm just like, okay, well, this is not really that great. They were up a level at some points. It's like, okay, well, there's signs of life here, right? But in the end, Gen.G do kick it into high gear. They have successful core defenses, not once, but twice. They really prevent either Bloodlust or anything crazy from just being a way for GLuck to come back in the game and take one down. So
to summarize game 2, I'm going to see the number, of course, Hanzo does crazy damage, and we did see some burst. Where does that damage come from? It's all the scatter just hitting one single target. But in terms of strategy, I think GLuck actually won the game. Only in terms of strategy, but that's because of the gap between the individual skill and the mechanics. Gen.G was able to bring back, bounce back, and win the game eventually. But Gen.G was the one that picked the map as well, Sky Temple. And GLuck really having perfect strategy, going for the weak spot at the first. Irel getting few kills, and it was. I think they actually had a very good idea of how to handle Gen.G and what to do. The final call, you would say, why did they do that? Because there was some level gap. They were 17, Gen.G was 19. They were about to hit 20. Once they hit 20 against Falstad, you can't really do too much because even though you have you brought the top gate down pretty early, Falstad will just push that out. Eventually, you kind of understand and know that you're going to lose the macro. So that was their last try. And I like how they actually had that final call pretty quickly, went to the top, stole to camp, and then just went over the core, but they failed at the end.